hydroponically, you will have to troubleshoot. For instance, this water pump has broken down on me a couple times so far, but it has had a pretty good life. Like, this ebb and flow multi-flow system has been operating for several years now, so it was definitely worth the purchase and I do not regret it at all. But this pump has failed a few times, but I have been able to fix it, and I'll just show you how, just to give you an example of like some troubles that you might come across when you're growing hydroponically, and things that you can do to troubleshoot it and work your way through the problem. So a good thing about this hobby is it requires you to problem solve. So sometimes I would hear like the system going and I would hear the like hum of the pump, but there would be no water flow and it wouldn't be getting to the grow bucket, which leads to the buckets inside the tent which hold the plants. So what I did is I turned the system off and I examined this pump. So I took the bottom off, right, and then I undid that like that. Took some pliers, opened it up like this. And this is how a lot of people learn stuff, is by taking shit apart and putting it back together. But and what happened was, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can sort of see. This little propeller thing right here is attached to a magnet, and that is how you get the revolutions. Is the magnet turns on and it spins this magnet, which is attached to this plastic propeller thing. And what was happening was this was coming detached from the magnet. So the magnet was just spinning in there, but since it wasn't attached to the plastic propeller, the propeller was just like sitting on top of the spinning magnet and wasn't spinning itself. And this spinning motion is what propels the water through the pump and through the tubes. So what I've done in the past as a quick fix is just super glue, crazy glue the plastic back to the magnet, quickly seal it up, and then I put it back in the pump, put the bottom back on and threw it in there, and it would get me through the water cycle that it was failing on. And that's what I just did right now. But what I learned is that I could repurpose an old water pump, and the parts are remarkably standardized. So it's like the same size magnet, same size diameter, same diameter like axle. So I'm going to show you that right now. Alright, so this is the original propeller and magnet, the internal parts of the water pump. And so this was a pump that I used in a previous DIY system, but it was the same principle, the multi-flow, ebb and flow hydroponic. This pump is off eBay, but it's not specifically designed for hydroponics, so it's a side draw pump, so it doesn't come in from the bottom but from the side rather. So it needs to be in like at least like 3 to 4 inches of water to operate properly. But anyway, same basic principle on how the other pump operates. So if you open up this part, you'll see it looks very, very similar. And if you pull that out, you'll see that they're like pretty much the same exact thing. Like this magnet is a little longer, but it's the same diameter, so it'll still fit in that other pump. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see all that crap around the edge of this magnet. That's the crazy glue that I was talking about, and all the times I've had to reattach it. And this one never had a problem like that. So I'm wondering if I can just, so this axle is a little bit longer than this axle, but everything else is virtually the same. So if I just like swap out the axles and just pop it in that other pump, I'm wondering if that'll give me more of a long-term solution to my water pump problem. So there's that. swapping out the axles. I don't even know if that's the right term to use. It's like the axle of a wheel, so that's why I call it that. Yeah, they seem to be, let's see. This one is like harder to get out of the magnet. Yeah, it seems to be the same. I'm gonna pause this and this happened as I was trying to pop out the axle. So you can really see what was happening now. So this was coming off of this. And yeah, I had to reapply super glue and put it back into that. So I'm hoping that, see, this is just like, it's toast. If I get this off it. Oh, that's why it was sticking. It had super glue. I'm like, why the hell is this not coming out? It should come out super easy. It's because there's super glue. Okay, wait, I'll be right back. Just put it in between pliers and twist it a little bit, and the teeth of the pliers were able to get all that crazy glue off. Alright, so now we have the appropriate sized axle. Oh, like a glove. Like a glove. Oh my god, that is so satisfying. Alright, and now let's put this back into our pump, and hopefully it'll work. Alright, so it turned out that that axle was really more important than I thought it was, because it keeps the propeller at the perfect height that it needs to be, where it won't have any like rattling or like be too high or too low. It just needs to be at that height. And so what happened was I put it on like nothing, right? I put it on without the zip tie around it. So just like that. And see, it had a tendency to pop up on me, right? And this lid right here that keeps it centered so the magnet can spin, it doesn't have anything to push it down to the right height because I'm using a different part, obviously. So what I had to do was, since I had this new problem, all I had to do was do a little more problem solving. I got a tiny little zip tie that was just the right width, and boom. So now the zip tie and the rubber cap on top push the propeller down to the right height. So now this piece can come in, and now let me show you how it works. So now this piece is fully on there, and you can see our swap out propeller in there, and let's see if it works. Alright, moment of truth. I'm going to plug the pump into just a regular outlet and not the smart controller bucket, because it's obviously not flood time, just to see if the pump works with that new piece. So let's take a look. It works. Alright, nice. Looks like that was a success for the time being, at least. I'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as like a pump fresh out of the box, but it'll do for now. And we will see how long that works for me.